we serve Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Oman and several countries in the Middle East. And the company I was serving put a lot of money, $1 billion on the line to make their processes greener over 10 years.
Wow.
I was
Yes.
so excited. $1 billion, it's a lot of money. And oil and gas in the Middle East, they have a lot that can be, greenified and made better in a more climate friendly way. So I staffed my team, what could possibly go wrong. Now, fast forward, we nearly flunked this project because we could not find good solutions for this customer. And
Wow.
I could not believe it. Expert
Yeah.
in the field, a lot of money, a very willing customer, and we cannot find good solutions to greenify their processes.
Yeah.
That was virtually the point when I said, climate change is not only knocking on our doors, it's knocking our doors down as we speak. And here I am being part of the problem because I sit here complaining that we can't find good solutions, and actually I myself don't do anything about it. I don't change anything about this fact. So I virtually decided at that point in time to leave McKinsey, and 4 weeks later I did and found PowerX.
Amazing. I'm curious, what was the biggest barriers for not finding solutions? Was it the technology wasn't out there, or was it the adaptability of that technology, or was it just, the large scale of changing an already the incumbent that was the infrastructure at that time in that area?
That's a great question. Primarily, it was really a combination of all three of these factors. So the technology overall was out there. For example, if you think about a camp where they drill for oil, it's not so difficult to put solar there and just power these remote camps via solar and maybe a battery that you put there as well. But then again, this is extremely, we talk about a lot of dust, sometimes sandstorms. This is an extremely rough environment. Like the effectiveness of a solar panel would decrease very rapidly. So technology theoretically is there. The combination and also the adaptability to this specific use case is very difficult. And then also sometimes we don't even have Wi-Fi, nor LTE in these remote areas. So for us, it was like, what can we do? How can we make sure that we kind of use existing technologies to greenify like these specific camps, for example? Or another example is also oil and gas uses a lot of steam. So they basically, they boil water, and then water vapor is being pushed down into where the oil resides to open up, if you will, the rocks down there.
Yeah.
And like you need such a huge amount of steam you can hardly imagine. So, you can like use solar panels and then a boiler, but you can also, what we decided in the end, you can also have huge aluminum shields and a little pipe. And like these shields kind of bundle the solar rays onto this pipe. So they start to boil up the water in this pipe. And we have like multiple soccer fields of huge solar mirrors. You can like a solar mirror as large as a house that like bundles and concentrates the solar rays onto this pipe to create steam. So these were like solutions, but you had to not only like they exist theoretically. It's not difficult to have a solar mirror, right? But then you have to combine them and also adapt them to the situation on the ground, and that was the rough part.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you're working on solutions that it's just kind of difficult to not only adapt the technology, but to implement it. And what was the inspiration behind PowerX, and the product that you ended up kind of focusing on as a solution for what it looks like as consumers every day within their current living, environment? What was the inspiration behind that?
Yeah. As just mentioned on our last project, we did a bit about like boiling water and heating water and how much energy is used to do so. And that really amazed me because very often, to boil water, such a simple thing, we burn a lot of gas or use electricity. The same happens for every user in every house. Like virtually every house has a water boiler, right? A water heater.
Yeah.
Either only for your shower and, well, when you open the faucet, you want to have hot water. But like, for example, in Europe, but also like in Canada or in the northern part of the Americas, you also have it for virtually room heating. So like what the AC is for Florida or California is basically the hot water heater in many parts of the world where climate is much colder. And when I realized that they're really dumb, like a water heater doesn't know when you're on vacation. A water heater just boils up, cools down, boils up, cools down, boils up, cools down. You could virtually take a dollar bill, put a lighter on it, and just burn a dollar bill. That's the same thing. It's completely wasted gas, completely wasted energy.
Yeah.
So when we realized that there's so much waste out there that does not help anyone and destroys the climate at the same time because all this energy is burned, that, you know what, I have to do something about it. And with all the calculations and work we did for McKinsey, especially for these oil and gas clients, naturally, like, these water boilers are much, much bigger than what we're talking about in a residential setting. But the principle stays the same. So that was kind of the transfer from oil and gas and the huge need for equally huge amounts of water and steam, and then transfer that to a residential setting.
First of all, that's amazing. Not only to adapt the product, it's kind of like how, a lot of products are kind of built by either industry, military, or some other kind of more industrial use, or, kind of on a larger scale, and then boiled down to something, no pun intended, to a product that, consumers can use in their day-to-day lives. But tell me a little bit about the transition from going to the government and private sector to now running a startup, and how different that environment is. What are some of the differences, and what are some of the similarities you see?
That is a fantastic question. A startup is, in a way, very unforgiving. Like, if you make a mistake even a big mistake in oil and gas, like big industry, or even for the government, if you make a big mistake, you can still discuss about it and be of different opinion. And you say, like, well, that's what I thought.
Yes.
That was my rationale. But money still comes in. Drilling still happens. Oil still flows, right? Okay. Damn, we made $1 million mistake. We miscalculated, or whatever it may be. Not good. There was a rationale for it. It's more about, was the rationale fair or not? While as a startup, like, it's very unforgiving. It's not like, okay, I had a really good rationale. Here are my arguments and here's my calculation, and I lost $1 million. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Perfect rationale, good argument, but you're out. So as a startup, you have to be much leaner, and it's much less forgiving, much more unforgiving than industry and government, if you will. That's number one. Number two, it's also a much faster pace and much more, you need to do it.
Yeah.
So get your hands dirty and do it. In these big companies and in government, it's easier to kind of have a big org structure with different levels and layers of hierarchy. While in a startup, it's like everybody hands on deck. We need to solve a problem.
Yeah.
So the problem is in the center much more than any politics or like org structure or titles.
Yeah.
And you have to solve problems. And that's why I also think that startups are so important for an economy, because they really work very lean, solving problems. There's very little buffer to have politics and have useless meetings and so on. Like, a lot of, things that are not very efficient, they're just cut away in a startup.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love the transition from the environment. Also, it sounds like there's so much more, not accountability, but maybe accountability, responsibility, and also just like the ability to actually change the environment very quickly. And that's what I love about, running small companies. It's just the immediate impact that you have, and also the immediate feedback you helps, keep things productive and move things in a really fast, at a fast pace. And so tell me a little bit about the product. What is PowerX working on, and how is it helping consumers, change their habits, or allow them to change ways that they not only have an effect on maybe their monthly bill, but also their energy consumption?
Yeah, three things that we do. And the first I already mentioned, we make your water heater smart. Imagine a bit like a Google Nest for water heating. Your water heater does not know when you're on vacation. If it's a vacation home, whether you're home or not, it just virtually boils up and cools down. And each of these cycles just burns your money. There's no use for anyone, not the pipes, not the water heater, not yourself. And we stopped it. We stopped the waste.
Yeah.
So product number one actually is able to monitor and control water heaters and save you a substantial amount of money. With heat pumps, this amount can be huge. Like we talk about not only 10, 15%, this can virtually be like 40, 50%. Because heat pumps, you can also ask to heat, if you will, at a time when they are most efficient, which usually happens, for example, if there's let's say high outside temperature, for example, if you want to heat up. And the efficiency difference between like a good day and a bad day can be as high as 40, 50%. So us knowing this, our machine learning algorithms can virtually heat up when like efficiency is highest. And so we save 40, 50% in heating. And that's like virtually directly converts into 40, 50% saved in electricity cost. So it's not only like stopping waste, it's also making it much, much more efficient depending on temperature differences. Then the second product that we do is water. And the idea behind water and also electricity, our third product, is really what you can measure, you can manage.
Yeah.
There's so many basements. I would not believe the numbers, but like, 70, 80% of basements over 40 years have a substantial leak. And like 60, 70% of toilets virtually leak like within 5 years of the lifetime. So like the chance that you have like leaks in your basement, in your toilet, somewhere in the wall is extremely high. We talk it's more likely than not any given year that you have one leak or another. And that not only wastes drinking water just there, it also it also wastes your money. Like the average insurance claim for a normal home or restaurant or so, when you have a big leak, is $30,000. For a luxury apartment, it's $200,000. So that's a lot of money. If you have, for example, PowerX, not only are you able to measure how much you spend, what you spend it on, is it a shower, whatever, whether your shower is efficient or not, like it tells you a lot about efficiency, but it also helps you prevent exactly that, leaks, for example. Again, saving you money, saving on waste. And then finally, our third product, electricity, does the same thing. What you can measure, you can manage to disaggregate the load. So it is smart enough, our machine learning algorithms are smart enough to know what kind of appliances you have in your home, a oven or your AC, and then can tell you, hey, your AC uses way more electricity than it should, or your fridge, I think it's from the 1970s, it's 5x as inefficient as like today's fridge. If you replace it, that's how much you'll save. So in combination, electricity, water, and water heating, it's virtually the most comprehensive system you can build in your home. It's non-invasive, which is great. Like, don't have to cut a pipe. You don't have to cut any wires. You can just clamp it on. It uses ultrasound to shoot little waves into the pipe and see what's going on. It uses electromagnetism to measure, what's going on in wires. It's really fast to deploy. So like in total, this is and I say this as CEO, but also because I'm really convinced about it. This is really one of the best systems out there in terms of value for money.
Yeah.